Today I'd like to take a look at the Christian and Buddhist perspective in terms of joy and how we discover joy in our lives. The book that we're reflecting on is called The Book of Joy, and it's a dialogue between the Dalai Lama and Bishop Desmond Tutu. The Dalai Lama, presenting the Buddhist perspective, talks about how to confront the difficult moments in life. Joy, of course, can't be just this simple thing, I'm joyful, I'm happy. There's more to joy than that. Uh, and so there are things in life, of course, that we confront that are difficult and challenging for us. And the Dalai Lama acknowledges that. And the Buddhist perspective, of course, acknowledges that. So he says what we have to do is have, when those negative things happen to us and we get sort of in a funk because of it, and we get upset and we're worried and confused and where do I go, that type of feeling. The Dalai Lama says take a wider perspective, and in that wider perspective, realize all the good things that happen each day. I think a lot of us have that experience in terms of watching the news or reading a newspaper. Many times we will be confronted with awful events. There'll be mass shootings. There'll be elements of war, greed, corruption in political office, abuse. And we look at those things and we get upset and we wonder, is this what life is all about? And the Dalai Lama says, no, take a step back, take a wider perspective. And with that wider perspective, realize, there are many, many good things that happen each day. There are many good people in life. There are many actions of kindness and charity that happen each day that we sometimes don't even realize. Sometimes just the simple act of going to the store and somebody holds a door open for us and smiles at us. Those little good things that happen each day, and those things that we can do to bring goodness to others each day. And so we can adapt this wider perspective. Yes, there are negative experiences in life. There are sufferings, there's evil that we have to confront. There is racism, there is injustice, there is exploitation, there is greed, stealing, murder. Those are realities. But there's also many good things that happen. So to keep that perspective is very important from the Buddhist aspect of life, to see the good. And then when we see those things, Dalai Lama says, when we see those things that are sad, that are difficult, we will not be in despair. And of course, despair is the challenge that we face every day. We say, there is no hope. There is no future. We're running out of time. Things are terrible. And so we face that aspect of despair. But when we see the wider perspective, when those bad things happen, we can cope in a better way with those bad things, those negative experiences in life. Now, from the Christian perspective, Bishop Tutu points out the difference between hope and optimism. And many times we can confuse the two and think that, oh, this person is hopeful, they're very optimistic. But Tutu says no. From the Christian perspective, hope is something much deeper. He sees optimism as rather a superficial reaction. Oh, things will be okay. But hope takes us down to the depths of our being. Hope is something that gives a different perspective in life than just that optimism. An example that he uses is when his good friend Chris Honey was assassinated. It was a difficult moment for the country. Assassination of someone who was trying to do good, who was trying to heal the country, who was trying to lead the country in a positive direction, is a time that leads many to despair. They will say, look at this good man. He was just trying to help us as a country, help us heal from that terrible division of apartheid and that awful aspect in life of racism, where somebody is discounted just because of the color of their skin, their country of origin, their background, and they're really discriminated against because of that. So Chris fought against that, and he was assassinated. But the white president of South Africa, President de Klerk, asked Nelson Mandela, the black leader, to address the nation. And that for Bishop Tutu was a moment of hope, because he saw, well, my country is coming together. My country is beginning healing. Someone who is very important to all of us in the black community was assassinated in a terrible fashion. But yet, the white president reached out to a black leader to address the country. He realized that the country needed healing. And he went to someone who formerly had been imprisoned by the state and someone who was designated as a criminal by the state. He said, you need to address our nation. You need to help us move towards healing. And these are moments of hope. These are not just moments of optimism. We say things are going to get better. This was a moment where things did get better. This was a moment of healing, a moment of reconciliation, a moment of moving the country forward. And that is what hope is all about. Bishop Tutu says that hope is based not on the ephemerality of feelings, but on the firm ground of conviction. Our feelings, of course, are very important. Our emotional life, very important, very significant. But our feelings can change, and they can change from moment to moment. But when we are grounded in hope, it comes from a deep conviction within us. A deep conviction that things can get better when we work to make things better. And that there is much goodness in the human spirit. There's much goodness in the human person. And that goodness can be nurtured by acts of love, by acts of charity, by acts of kindness. So we can build a culture that is based on hope, on the conviction of hope, that we can all work together and we can heal those wounds that have plagued our country for so long. And that is true hope. It is a conviction to move us forward.